guys, I'm Miss Melinda. Have you ever been fishing? What's the biggest fish you've caught? I remember fishing with my dad and my brother, and I thought it was a big deal when I caught a small fish from the ocean off of a pier. Have you heard the story of Jonah and the big fish? Did Jonah do what God asked him to do? Jonah decided to go his own way and disobey God. I know there are times when we don't want to do what we're told. I know I am very guilty of this. What do? Sometimes I put my hands over my ears and block out what I don't want to hear, or I find something else to get busy with. Do you run away when you don't want to do something you're asked to do? Jonah did something like that with God. God asked Jonah to go to Nineveh so he could try to get the people that lived there not to be so bad and disobey God. Jonah chapter 1 verse 3 says, "But Jonah rose up to flee to Tarshish from the presence of the Lord." Not a good idea, right? Jonah found a boat and sailed in the opposite direction for where God told him to go. Have you ever tried to run away from something you've been asked to do? I bet it didn't turn out very well. Once Jonah was happily sailing in the wrong direction, a huge storm came upon the boat. The crew was very scared and asked Jonah what they should do. Jonah told them that God was mad at him and not them, so they should toss him in the water. Doesn't look good for Jonah, does it? Can you name some big fish? Some of them can be quite large and scary. A shark, a whale, a dolphin. Do you know which big fish stars in Jonah's story? Lots of folks say it was a whale. A whale would be big enough to fit the story. Here's a block from my latest quilt showing a whale. I don't know about you, but I don't think I would like being in the belly of a whale for a while. That whale doesn't look that scary, but imagine being swallowed up by one. No, it doesn't sound like a picnic in the park, right? You'd think this is the end of Jonah's story, but God had other plans. Thankfully, after 3 days, Jonah realized he had done wrong and prayed to God asking for forgiveness and mercy. God allowed the big fish to throw Jonah up out of his belly so Jonah could finally do what God asked him to do. Do you think Jonah finally did what God asked him to? Yeah, he did. He may not have been really happy about it, but he did. God was compassionate towards Jonah, even though he disobeyed. Even though it isn't likely we will be swallowed up by a fish, when we are disobedient, we should think of what might happen if we don't do what we were told, especially what God asks us to do. God, thank you so very much for being gracious, compassionate, and merciful to us, even when we don't deserve it and we disobey you and run the other way. I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks. Goodbye.